Well, the weather outside is just really damn hot. It's really miserable, actually. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Zareth Prevails. On Friday, CG Crumb, our community manager, I don't know if that's his official title now. I feel like he has a different name, but our title is the same name as far as I know. But he went on the Escape podcast and had an hour-long interview. He dropped a few interesting pieces of news, a couple insights as to kind of what at least the official corporate speak of CG wants us to think about different things. And I thought that it was overall just a very interesting interview. They asked good questions, and it's important to take a look at them. They have news for this week, so check those out. I'm giving you guys all the things I think were interesting, and I'll give you, just a few of my thoughts. We'll probably cover a lot of these things in the plan a little bit later this week, but for now, I just wanted to give you guys a brief recap because there is news. There's actual real news. It's not just, it's not just like philosophy stuff. It's good stuff. But before I say anything else, go watch the Escape podcast, guys. If you want to actually get the full interview, because this is just stuff I personally, it's still subjective. I thought this stuff was interesting. Go check out the full interview. It's on their Twitch channel, and I'll have the link to there on my video description. My guess is that they don't have it on their YouTube yet. I think they usually wait a week. So I'll also link it. I'll link them on Spotify, I guess, just so you guys have a link to the podcast itself. And then you guys can check out the full interview. So a couple great guys. I think they've been doing it for like 5 years, which is way longer. Like I just hit my 3-year anniversary for my podcast. So, huge props to them. Really, really fun. Way better produced podcast than my own. So, really good stuff, guys. That being said, let's stop talking about the people who did the interview and let's talk about the interview itself. And it was a good one. It was a lot of interesting stuff. So actually, just hit that thumbs up button first, guys. Just real quick. Just do it now. Okay. Paraphrased question number 1, and this is kind of far into it, actually. In fact, the thing I don't even have a slide for. They actually asked my question. I don't know if they certainly didn't give me credit for it. Maybe they came up with it on their own, but they asked the question of what. So I mean, I've been asking this for a little bit. They'd had the great nerfening or whatever people want to call it last year, like a year ago, where they made Jedi Knight Luke worse, Vader worse. Well, Jedi Luke is actually like kind of whatever. He's different. General Skywalker is different. He's actually stronger. They made Watt significantly worse. All this stuff, and then they were like, "Hey, we want things to be more balanced." And then Datacrons came in, and they're like, "Hey, we don't really care about balance." And they mentioned this, and Crumb was just like, "Oh, we don't want things to be unbalanced." But that's basically it. Like, he's like, "Well, we can always fix things after a few months." Like it was. I thought it was one of the less informative answers he gave. It was a good question because it's a question that I've been asking, but what are you gonna do? I don't know what I'm gonna do. So all right, so here we go, guys. Now let's go to the actual paraphrased questions here. So Datacrons are too complex; it's causing burnout. The question, of course, is the idea that, well, like they add another layer. We already had like these huge kits. We have mods. Now we have Datacrons. We have Omicrons. We have Zetas. We have all these different complex factors. And, we have things like territory wars where people are being required to incorporate all of this stuff. And I thought it was really interesting, actually, guys. This one was a very interesting thing because he hinted that the Datacrons might not have just a single month lifespan. They might be significantly longer. He said, like what happens when, for instance, and he never promised anything, but what if the Datacrons were, like 6 months long? The meta would be super different if that would lasted that long. Like, I don't think I didn't get the sense that they want to wait for 6 months until a Datacron set goes away, but it would significantly change the player base's attitude toward things. And I all I have to say is, if they are actually going to change the lifespan of Datacrons, or at least they're considering it, maybe that's something they should have communicated beforehand, because right now everyone's like, oh, like I'm gonna invest and then they're gonna burn my money, like it's just gonna be gone. It's got, no, my investment is gonna be gone in 1 month. And like right now that's true. Like the Datacrons we have right now, it's true. But in, you know, if the long term, like he kept referring to this as the exhibition season. So we're in the exhibition, and then they don't know what they're going to do after that, basically. They're looking for feedback. They're looking at numbers. So look for things to change on the Datacrons. I don't know if it's going to be changed for the better, but I did think that was one of the more interesting things. And maybe, I will confess, I didn't watch the interview on Gridsy. I think they asked some of the same questions. So if I'm covering things that they talked about, my bad. I'm not trying to say it's a new question or something, but that being said, all right, PvE updates. I don't know. Whoa, what am I doing? Okay, let's go to the next slide. Whoa, I gave you guys a hint. It was foreshadowing. Okay, so why? I mean, the question, I've had this question forever too. Why can't they remove the Relic 3 lock on Datacrons? Why can't they make it so that characters who are in a squad with some Relic 3s don't get the bonuses, but then the Relic 3 characters still get them? Like, you can still apply a Datacron, it just works on the characters who it's allowed to work on. And I didn't like his response, really. Like, his first thing was like, well, you were just saying that everything's too complex, like this adds too much complexity. And then he kind of, the thing that I thought was most interesting, because you have to expect a certain amount of this, like kind of the, you know, he can't just talk in specifics. I get that. It's not how he can do it. But I thought the thing that I thought was the most interesting was, he said the way they designed it, it was really versatile, so they could actually, from set to set, change the lock. So they could be like, hey, set 3, we want to make it so that the lock is like, so that people, you can only apply you know, Datacrons to like to squads with Relic 7. Like, you have to have a full Relic 7 squad to apply. Or it could be like Gear 10. It sounded like they could kind of just choose what they wanted from set to set, which I thought was very interesting. That it's a very flexible system, he said. It sounds like, I mean, the other ominous note that plays, of course, is that as we continue to progress, like, will Relic 3 always be the case? Like, if they decide to, okay, we're going to keep the Relic 3 lock, like, we can't have squads out there that are inferior to Relic 3. What if they're gonna have to change that at some point? They're gonna be like, well, now that we have Relic 10 out, like, Relic 3 is really weak, guys. Relic 4 is the new bar to pass. Like, I don't know. I don't love that. That kind of makes me cringe right now, right this instant. So there is that, though. Next, they asked when, well, he basically told them to ask, when is the next road ahead? And he said early to mid-September. So remember, we got the huge State of the Galaxy just a little bit ago, and that was way better than any road ahead. I love that they like frame the road ahead as like, hey, this is a big thing. But the way he said it, road ahead is this time going to have quite a bit. I mean, I think they're going to announce something big. It sounds like something like a new territory battle. If I had to guess right now, I would guess that we're going to get a new territory battle. That's what I think. But he said that they're interviewing a bunch of different developers for it. Like, they just finished filming interviews with a bunch of different developers in their various little sections to talk about this new upcoming cool thing. And so it's going to be a big announcement early to mid-September, which is soon, you know, at most a month away. So that's cool. So he said just a couple things, like there's going to be PvE updates, which is something we kind of need. I tend to focus on non-PvE stuff. I prefer PvP, obviously, but stuff like that, talking about mods. And he said that there's going to be a few things that we just did not expect at all, which, I mean, that kind of makes me think of a new game mode, frankly. Like, hey, there's vehicles now. Like, you have to, I don't really want a vehicle game mode, guys. That sounds like they could really mess that up. But at the same time, I'm like, why can't we have like an AT-AT? That seems kind of cool. I don't know. So, It sounds pretty cool, guys. Actually, it sounds like it's a big to do. All right, let's see. So they asked about that made them ask, and this is something I've been asking about a lot myself. State of the Galaxy. You guys remember the post? I've talked about it a bit before. They said that they're going to give us more gear and more catch-up mechanics, and they haven't yet. And he was like, "Oh yeah, we haven't done that yet. We're gonna do it. We're not gonna address it in the road ahead, though. It's gonna be later down the line." So, what you gonna do? Okay, like he said it's gonna happen. They still have plans. They're gonna roll out a phase 2. They're not done with phase 1 yet. It wasn't specific, but he acknowledged that it still existed and that they're going to do it. And I will believe it when it happens. I mean, I like Crumb. I don't think he's lying. I just have to wonder, like, what's gonna happen? I don't know. What's gonna happen? I guess. What is gonna happen? I don't care. I do care. I just. Bleh. It's kind of annoying, guys. All right. So, like, I'm glad they acknowledged it. I am very glad they acknowledged it. Okay, so we had a bunch of tidbits as well. So, this is great news. Mod challenges are removing 3 and 4 dot mods, so we're not getting those anymore. We're just getting all 5 dots. There are 5 dots on each mod in the future, so that's going to be a nice thing. This week, this is a big one, guys. There's new Java requirements that they're going to be announcing. You know, they already announced the first set of them. They're going to get the second set now, and we're going to get a new Marquee. He hinted at it. You might have to go a little undercover to figure out who this person is. See, I mean, that's basically, it's going to be either Lando or Boosh Leia. That's pretty clear cut. I mean, there's been a million rumors out there that says those two, and I don't know. I tend to believe the people who are saying those rumors in particular. So, I mean, if I had to guess one, I would guess Boosh. But who knows? And it's going to... So the new Marquee is going to be a requirement character for Java. But that character is also going to go really well on the Java team, apparently, of the Java squad. So their intent is that this person will go on Java. Which isn't to say it's Leia. She might go on Leia. Or she might go on Java, we'll see. So, and then I think I quoted him verbatim there. You might have to go a little undercover to figure out who this person is. He wouldn't say who it was, but that's what he said. So there's that. A new community manager has been selected. Remember, Crumb has transcended the earthly coils that was being the community manager. Now he's the guy who's overseeing. He's like the head community manager. He's like community manager 2 or something. I don't know. I should probably look that up. But he is in charge of those 2. Just in charge of that kind of. So he is over all of the CG ones. So that includes the new Lord of the Rings game. So the new community manager has been selected for Galaxy of Heroes, and he did go out of his way to say that the community manager for Galaxy of Heroes is going to be different than the one for the Lord of the Rings game that they're producing. They're going to have a community manager for both. So that sounds kind of nice. Like, as in, they're going to have one community manager for Galaxy of Heroes, and an entirely separate, different person is going to be a community manager for Lord of the Rings. Just to make sure I'm being clear on that. Which actually, in my opinion, like people, all these rumors of they're trying to kill the game, they want the game to die and stuff. I mean, I've never believed that for a second anyways. But this this is another piece of evidence in favor of, like, disregarding the people who say that. Because why would you hire a community manager if you just wanted the game to go to hell? Anyways. Alright, so they asked when the new Crumb puzzle is. For those of you who don't know what that is, it's like every once in a while he'll come out with this really cool thing where you know, he puts a ton of effort in on the front end, but then the community spends hours and hours working on these cool puzzles to unlock, like, what the big reveal is. And this is going to be after Java is released, so you know, you have to think a couple months from now. But then the community is going to be able to do the unlock, and that's going to be like it's going to tell us what the new big fancy awesome thing is coming that's going to be coming up. So I don't know, I'm kind of interested to see what that looks like. So all right guys, that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this was helpful. Thank you all so much for watching, and remember that in all things, Xerath prevails.